Hello, I am Zubin Rashid. Welcome to HR Speak, a talk show that takes you on a journey of learning from some of the best HR leaders in India. Today we have with us Mr. Ranjan Banerjee. He is the Senior Vice President HR in the domestic textiles business of Aditya Birla Group. Mr. Banerjee, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a great privilege for me to be here.
Let us try to understand about you, about your experience, about your life. Would you like to tell us something about yourself?
Sure. So it's been 23 years roughly in HR, and I worked in organizations like I began with the Aditya Birla Group. I'm back here again.
Okay. After
a gap of 20 years. And then I went on to the hotels industry, and then with Bata India, and then UB, RPG, got into entertainment and media business, Vodafone, which was telecom, and that was the time when it was going through its growth phase, and finally got into power business for a while, and then back with the Aditya Birla Group with the domestic textiles business. So that's roughly what I've been through. Worked through employee relations, also worked through the services sector, worked through merger and integration processes, worked through culture change and transformation, employee relations, core HR. It's run right through, and it's been a great learning experience for me across businesses. So that's given me a lot of scope to do a lot of things and learn a lot of things which otherwise may not have been possible for me. So it's been a very rewarding experience right through. I think I'll put it this way.
I have myself worked on change management quite a lot, and also from the culture perspective, because I heard you mention about change and transformation.
That's right.
I think it would be really nice if our viewers also could learn from your experience about this subject.
Yeah, because see why I said change and transformation, and you're right, that's very important, because increasingly the real value that HR leaders and HR professionals can add to any organization, whatever it may be, is around culture and mindset change, because transactions will slowly go out of the way, and I don't think organization will pay us for transaction work. They will pay us for showing up the mirror. They will pay us for taking a stand and saying, okay, here and now you need this for the business, but going forward this is what is coming. So getting the outside in perspective. On change and transformation, why I'm saying this is because if you really need to do meaningful people-centric work, you have to build it around what's happening in the business. And therefore you need to go a step ahead of what your business leaders are doing and say, okay, these are the trends which are coming in your business. Okay. For example, if it's digitization, if it's increased competition, these are the trends which are coming in the business. And also, if you look at the nature of the business, whether it's customer intimacy or whether it's operational excellence, that will determine what kind of people do you need, what business processes will you have. So if it's cost, which is very important, then processes and SOPs will be very important. Okay. If you want to change all of that to become customer facing and customer intimacy, then the way you were running your business and the way people were interacting with one another will change. So you will have more of delegation, more of empowerment, less of cloning, less of sticking to the SOPs. So that's what a customer intimacy driven organization will do. And when you want to make that change, you have to understand this basic fundamental issue, and everything will then revolve around that. So your performance management system, your performance measurement criteria will change, your assessment systems will change, the way whom do you hire will change, What skills do you hire for will change. Who will you consider top talent will change. Whom will you move up the ladder fast? That criteria will change. So all these things will undergo a huge change. There are 3 steps there. The first step will be, okay, what is the purpose for which this change is happening? Is it a purpose that everybody will believe in? Is the CEO the person who's really taking it forward and saying this is the purpose? And can you break it down to the last level employee saying, for you, this is what the change means. If there's a merger which is happening, for you, this is how things will change. If you look at any organization, say in the retail banking sector, so the thing was that, okay, how do you face your customer? Your customer will not come to your doorstep. You need to go to their doorstep. So this whole thing changed. That would have been a paradigm shift for employees.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so this change, when is explained properly, and the purpose to believe in is there, this is going to sink in. The second part is how are you going to reinforce the changed behaviors? So what are the rewards that you're going to give for a changed behavior? How are you going to make sure and send a message down the line that if you don't go by these behaviors, which is important for the customer, then you don't have a place in the organization. The third thing is resistance to change happens more not because people are going to be impacted adversely. That you can handle it. Resistance to change comes when people know that they don't know what the change is. They don't have the skills to adapt to the changed situation. They don't have the development inputs that they need to do things differently and do things better. So development action. What kind of development action are you going to give them? Is it going to spread across the length and breadth of the organization? So these are 3 things which we must keep in mind. Otherwise, all change, 75% of the change efforts in organizations worldwide fail because you've not programmed it well. The last part is whenever you go through a change process, so why do you want to change? Business leaders want to change because they want to increase profitability. They want to go for higher growth. Nobody wants to change to go down. Now, when you go through that process, the beginning years are going to plateau out. And you will find willy-nilly as the change starts to set in, that's a time when the old order has changed. The new order hasn't taken its shape. So there's a lot of, what should I say, despair. So it goes down. So there's something called a value of despair. That is where you either come up, if you have programmed your change well, or you move down.
Yeah.
Now the role of an HR leader is to ensure that the business leadership understands that when you want change, it is going to take a knock, you're going to take a knock on your earnings. You're going to take a knock on your business results. You're going to take a knock on so-called stability in the organization.
Yeah.
People will say, see, I told you, don't do this. That is the point where most CEOs, business leaders, HR leaders fail, and they try to take a U-turn and they can't. So they slide down an abyss. It's only when they've programmed it well, saying purpose to believe in, reinforcement systems, development systems, then it's going to take a upward swing. And that's when the change effort will actually stick. So if this is not clear and if HR leaders can't explain it and articulate that to business leaders, they have failed their leaders and they failed their organizations.
Right.
If you've been able to explain it to them with a lot of conviction and programmed it out for them, then you will succeed. And that's where HR adds value.
When you're talking about the U-turn that
Yes.
the business leader or the HR leader takes, somewhere it deals with risk acumen, isn't it? I mean, why do I take the U-turn? Because I'm afraid that
That's
things might get worse, instead of trying to resolve that situation or bring that curve up again.
Correct.
So do you think that HR leaders have that risk appetite?
So one part is risk. The other part is planning for that risk, preparing yourself for that risk.
Yes.
If the planning and the preparation isn't done, you are heading into nowhere. Then your business leaders will not listen to you. They'll say my profitability is down, my growth has come down, it's sliding. I don't believe you. It was wrong. It's only when they know that when you go into this, this is going to happen. So these are the steps you'll have to take to move up and make the change stick.
Right.
Once you've programmed it, then of course comes the second part, which is appetite for taking risks. If you want to be nice, and if you want to take it, you don't want to take risks, real risks, then sell ice cream. Don't get into HR.
Right.
You want to get into HR,
Yeah.
you will have to stand up to your leaders who are superior to you, who are your reporting managers. You will have to stand up in front of the entire workforce and say, this is what I believe in and this is why I believe in it. And I'll make an example out of it. So that risk appetite is not something you can develop, it's something you come with. I believe you either have it in you or you don't have it in you. If you don't have it in you, don't get into an HR role. If you have it in you, then get into an HR role.
So I can.
HR is not going to be easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be very, very tough.
So I can confidently assume that you have a good risk appetite. And therefore my next question is, what is the greatest risk that you have taken at work?
It's happened 2 or 3 times, big risks, where similar mindset change and transformation had been attempted on a large number of employees, unionized workforce. And that results in a lot of bad blood, that results in a lot of reaction. That will require you to take a very consistent, steadfast stand. On many occasions, as an HR leader, I have found myself alone.
Okay.
And there's no harm in that, because everybody is not going to be with everybody all the time. They have their own agendas to take forward. You have to be able to stand up alone and face the whole situation. Be it it's a reaction to an action that you've taken, be it you're being called in and asked what's happening, nothing is moving. You said this will happen because of if we take these initiatives, but nothing has happened. You will be alone. You have to carry that conviction. I presume I have been able to carry that conviction, even standing alone. And I believe I have a lot of respect for HR leaders who stand up and call a spade, stand up with conviction, stand their ground and get things done. You might fail or succeed, that's a separate issue, but you must stand up for what you have said, that is important.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just move out a little bit from human resources.
Sure.
I will go a little bit into your life, and so what we would like to know is, what do you do when you're not working, which means, do you have some hobbies, do you do something else?
See, I catch up with my friends.
Okay, that's one.
I do yoga religiously. I find a lot of tranquility and peace, internal peace and tranquility when I go through that. I read books. If you ask me what books, thrillers, drama, sometimes I watch a movie on Netflix, but I take it easy. That's what I do. In my free time, I really take it easy. I catch up with my friends, with family, sometimes books. And yes, yoga is a religion for me, so that's something that gives me a lot of peace, internal peace and alignment.
I think for the time that I have known you, I can probably now relate that you're such a calm person and you speak. It just shows that you don't have much stress, at least it doesn't show on top. So I can now correlate what I know about you with the fact that you do yoga. Okay, great. So again, back to an HR question, but then again it's more personal. Now I'm trying to understand the area or the aspect of HR where you are very passionate and something that really excites you? Which aspect of HR?
Challenging the status quo.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And encouraging everybody to challenge the status quo, because things are changing very fast.
Yes.
You do not have anything called a long-term business plan today. You might have it, it's going to be nowhere 6 months later. So every now and every then you will have to challenge what's happening around you. What you have stated is a process that you've established. You've got to challenge yourself. You've got to move away from what you're doing and comfortable doing. Encouraging my team, my colleagues, my peers, my superiors, my professional friends to challenge the status quo is a big passion area for me. If I get into a role, I will never be comfortable doing what has already been there for a long time. I will find my way to challenge what is there, because with the way businesses are transforming themselves today, the kind of environment that you have in the business today, every now and then things are going to change. So now today there's more of a reason why you should challenge the status quo.
I think that's something all HR professionals should also think about, because
Yes.
there are times it's like being in the box. You do not really know how to come out of it.
Correct.
And you also feel very comfortable in the status quo. So I think when we were discussing the risk-taking appetite, or so if you want to challenge the status quo, you must be able to take a risk as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ranjan, I will now move on to something challenging, not very, but we call it the rapid fire round. So there are just 5 questions that I'm going to ask,
Yeah.
and you have to answer them really fast.
Okay.
So are we ready?
Let me try it.
Okay, great.
Good.
First question, what is your favorite color?
Black.
Why?
Because it attracts a lot of attention.
Okay, I will keep it at that. Question number 2, veg or non-veg?
Non-veg.
Always?
Most of the time.
Most of the times, okay. Third question, Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan?
Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay, why?
The way he's transformed, the way he portrays, the image he portrays in each film, if you see the way he's transformed across his various age, various decades, it's a wonderful way in which a person keeps himself relevant. So we all have to know how to keep ourselves relevant with every passing day. So I think that's why Amitabh Bachchan.
Excellent. Fourth question, movie or a walk in the park?
A walk in the park.
Okay. And you thought a little bit, so
Yeah.
maybe you were just trying to prioritize, which
Yeah.
would be better. Okay, final one.
Yeah.
This is about flowers.
Yeah.
Rose or lotus?
Rose.
And may I ask why?
Whenever you want to say something good to anybody, you give a rose.
Okay. Okay, I'll take that. That was
Yeah.
really nice. Good answers and fast answers. And I also like the logics that you've used. For example, I really like the way you've explained about Amitabh Bachchan being your choice. Okay, here's the final question. And this is very important for our viewers, I believe, and especially the younger people who are joining the human resource profession. So from your experience, from your learnings, what would be maybe 1 or 2 suggestions or advice that you would like to give to the younger people joining this profession?
Continuously update yourself and build your content and have the gumption to take risks and challenge the status quo, because that's what people look up to for HR. You need to be able to show up the mirror to your bosses and say you're not doing something right.
Yeah.
But for that you'll have to back yourself up terrifically. So I think that's the 2 pieces of advice that I would like to leave behind.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ranjan, for being here. I think it was great learning from you, and our viewers would definitely learn a lot from what you have shared with us. For the viewers, I hope this has been a good learning experience for you. Please share this video if you think this is useful, beneficial for your colleagues, for your friends. Have a great day. Goodbye.